Films I Screw review, Hobbs and Shaw. There's one thing that we're sure about, and that's Hobbs. Let's get into it, boys. Hey team, Angus, Strachan here. Welcome to the Film Slice Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Wiggly, Kane Dogs.
Thank you.
And the man formerly known as Bro Diddly Doo, Broadman Richards. This week he is known as Shob.
Nailed it.
Shobs
and more.
I was going to go whore.
Shobs and whore.
I was going to go whore, but I decided not to.
Too late now.
This week we are reviewing Hobbs and Shaw, the spin-off of the, I was about to say Fantastic Four franchise. Fast and Furious franchise. That other F1.
That
the other
franchise
F1.
that somehow is spin-off of itself.
Yeah.
11 movies now. I don't know how.
We'll get into it. K-Dogs, you want to whip out that IMDb summary?
Absolutely. I sure can. All right. Lawman Luke Hobbs and outcast Deckard Shaw form an unlikely alliance when a cyber-genetically enhanced villain threatens their future of humanity.
Yep, that unlikely alliance that always seems to happen.
If you listen to that, they've already done in the other two films.
You are correct, by the way. If you're thinking, hang on, they just described a science fiction film. Yeah. Yep, that's what this film is. This film is just science fiction. What a leg.
When did you see the movie, and what did you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? No shit.
I saw the movie Thursday of last week.
Nice.
And I thought it was fucking horrible. It was real bad. I really expected to like it as well, because I thought I was going to get the same sort of thing out of it that I got from the Meg, which is that it'd be self-aware.
Yeah.
It's got charisma behind it, and if you put those two things together and you don't drop the ball on the writing, you're probably going to end up with a good film, even if it's a dumb premise. But
I don't know. I'm just gonna pull you up on that. I don't think there was any writing in the Meg.
I don't think there was any writing in this. All of this was, it was real bad. I really wanted to like it. Like, so much of it was like, even if this is bad, I'm gonna have fun. And you know what?
Girls just want to have fun.
Girls just want to have fun.
I did not enjoy the movie. It was no good.
That is interesting. I was watching this movie being like, I reckon Jordan's having fun right about now.
There are a few moments, there's some scenes that got me, but they're let down by the rest of the film.
Fair enough. Shobs.
Shobs and whore?
Yep. Shobs and whore. What do you think?
I saw it an hour ago.
Nice one.
Good.
So,
nailed it.
How's the stewing going?
The stewing
Have you stewed on it?
Stewing up a filth.
Yeah. Low temperature heat. Just let it simmer.
Yeah.
Bubbling
Simmering
away.
up it. Sure. Okay. I saw
almost that in there is.
I saw it about an hour ago, and it was pretty whatever.
Yeah, pretty stock standard.
Pretty meh. Yeah, just your bog standard.
Yeah, a bit of
almost worse so. Like, this film was worse than I expected it to be.
Really?
I thought it was going to be dumb.
So I saw
thought it
the
was going to
movie.
be terrible.
I saw the movie 2 days ago now.
Yep.
And I thought it was fine for what it was. I went in with absolutely no expectations, and it delivered. But there were some.
It delivered on none of those expectations. It ticked every box I didn't make.
Yeah. But there were some fun parts with it, and because I went in with no expectations, I think I had a bit more fun than you guys probably did. Lads, you know how every week I put up on Instagram, Cane Dogs, you look after Facey, and
That's
of course
true.
we've got the Broadman on
Twitter.
Shobsy. Yeah. By the way, how is Twitter going?
Not so good. Whatever it was last week has failed. I've forgotten what it was. It failed.
Was it Kevin Tacey?
No, that one failed a couple of weeks ago. But this week, brand new Twitter account.
Nice one.
Get excited, everyone. It's Film Slice Podcast. You can hit us up on Twitter. You can message us and we'll talk back. We do live tweeting now when we're watching the film. So while watching the film, we just tweet out. It's oh, did you see that?
Yep.
So if you're watching it at the same time, you'll understand. But if you're not watching it at the same time, it's probably going to be a bit confusing. Anyway, our new Twitter account is Quentin Cappuccino. So hit us up on that one and get pumped. We're going to be live tweeting the new Tarantino film next week, probably.
Excellent. So obviously no comments for this week's podcast because we had to change that again.
No, the last Twitter account.
Well, we did get hit up on Instagram. We got a few Oh, quite a few. This is from not.filmslash.host, says the blonde short one with the t-shirt and the brown shoes, aka Fappo, is a pill boxing munter.
Up, jokes on you, I'm wearing blue suede shoes.
You are wearing blue shoes.
I have no
Got
reason
him.
to
Obviously,
think...
he is not here to make that correction or to post that comment, so obviously it's not me.
I have no reason to think this way other than that was my impression from listening to the podcast.
Oh. How did... Wait.
There you go.
How did they know what colours this was wearing?
We've got a comment from IOHO_podcast in our Honest Opinion podcast. Definitely head over, let them know if we're any good. They say self-aware and mindless. Part of the crew enjoyed it for what it was. The other part can respect what they did, but didn't enjoy it as much. But we all agree on one thing. It was better than Fate of the Furious. Ooh, controversy. No, totally
fair.
agree.
Yeah, I don't read that one. Yeah. Fat being dirt, this is the shit that grows on dirt.
That's not how shit works.
Mine grows on dirt. Because if not, then
You could have gone with like mold or moss or something.
K-Dog's failed biology.
Well, but if shit isn't growing, then who's... You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
This is from Lisa J007. He says, you guys are reviewing this before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? ? It's
not out in this country yet.
Because it's not out in this country, yeah.
It will be out next week.
But we will definitely be reviewing that next week. Ooh, bit of a spoiler for the film.
Bit of a spoiler.
Yeah, our final comment...
Or we might just do Marvel Phase 4 again. Who knows? That went really well. We might just do that twice.
Our final comment is from Hooverman91. He says, I wrote a poem. This will be good. Hobbs and Shaw, I wanted more. Giddy up, son. I got a nice bun. We talking bread, boy? No latte with soy. Oh, sorry. No, latte with soy. What does that mean? I saw the Queen. She was eating a green bean. I heard she driven a Holden. Nope, that's that dickhead Jordan.
Can you send that to me, please? I'd like to send that to the police.
Wow,
that's actually pretty great. I want that because I'm going to frame it.
It's a real adventure. There we go. That very good. I'm glad our Instagram followers are so excited to contribute.
They're very passionate
to make art and submit it to the podcast.
Yeah, make
if
art.
If you have any art, make sure to submit it to
Definitely.
us, Quentin Cappuccino on Twitter.
That's the one.
Make it happen.
P.O. Box. We don't have a P.O. Box. K-Dogs, anyone hit you up on Facey?
Yeah, we got a few. Starting off.
Nice one. It's a good place.
Last week I chucked up the stupid trailer, and we did get a comment, so I thought I'd at least acknowledge.
Fair enough.
Acknowledge the person that wrote in. Kirby Hines said, "Saw the trailer. That was enough for me." It's enough for us.
Enough for us as well.
We completely agree. And then for Hobbs and Shaw, we have Nathan Glinick. In terms of, as I wrote, have you seen it and did you bloody see it? The famous segment that Angus wrote up last week. Nathan Glinick wrote, no, but I'm pretty sure the Jordan guy. And then we got Kirby Hines.
People are really going for you.
They really are. Going through an emotional trauma at the moment, guys. If we could just lay off a little bit, the self-esteem's pretty low. And fuck all of you. Fuck all of you. Yeah, and screw all of you.
Great jacket. What I say?
Thanks, bud.
It looks amazing.
I grew it on the dirt. It's where all my shit grows.
I love you.
Oh, thanks, man. Anyway, you're okay too. You're alright too. And then we go Kirby Hines.
First, Jordan got...
Now I'm going through some emotional trauma.
Angus, how are you going, buddy? You alright?
I love you so much.
You're okay too, I guess.
I don't know what's happening.
Now Brody's going through some
Brody, how are you, buddy? You alright? Nah, fuck off. Okay.
I'm pretty anxious at the moment, guys.
No, shut up. It's fine.
I have no idea what's happening on the podcast anymore. I don't know if I want to be part of it next week.
Kirby Hines said no, and I don't want to. In terms of seeing it, she also doesn't want to see it.
Sweet. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, our Slicey Slices, for writing in that week. Make sure you write in every week because we bloody love you guts so much. Let's move on.
Especially your jackets.
Especially your jackets.
Especially your jackets. All right, let's move on. Would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to? Cane Dogs? Would you recommend it to anyone?
Look, I guess if you're a diehard fan of this franchise and in your book they can't go wrong, I'm sure those people are out there, then you'll probably fucking love this. But if you're anyone else, then no.
Totally agree. If you love Fast and Furious and everything about Fast and Furious, the 2% of Fast and Furious that's in here, you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
Bro, man.
I actually wrote down in my notes, as I do every week. I make notes after I've seen the film. Probably didn't really need to do it this week. I only saw the film an hour ago.
Probably true. How bad is your memory?
We actually had to stop the podcast.
But
so
my
that you
note
could
just
write.
literally says meh. So
Fair enough.
take what you will
It's
from that
literally
comment.
written on your jumper.
There's quite a lot to unpack there. We might have to move on. I think we'll head on into spoilers.
Yep.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
All right, we are in the spoiler section where we dissect and divulge everything about the film. You've been warned, so bloody
We know you're listening.
don't click restart on the buzzer.
Also, take your hand off that buzzer.
Yes.
And give back our buzzer.
Stop pressing
also,
my buzzer.
If you've seen our buzzer, if you could please just
If
send it back
you're
in.
disappointed in this podcast, other podcasts are available.
Just go back to your last week's podcast. It's much better.
I was going to recommend different podcasts.
Please scroll down to new and noteworthy and don't find us there and just find something you like.
And find something decent.
Or stick around, you know, we do okay.
Starting off with Cinema Dicks. Anyone got a Cinema Dick?
I saw this movie at a drive-in cinema.
Very hard to get a Cinema Dick, or unless the car's a dick.
No, well, the
Was there
thing
a car
is,
dick?
well, because the way it was set out is that there are other cinemas with other, like, sort of just places for cars to park. The films that were playing ended halfway through our film.
Yeah,
And so all these cars with the lights on just started driving past us.
and the lights just flash up on the screen and
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
only see half of what's happening. You're like, is this part of the movie?
And
or-
we also made the mistake of parking, like, in front of the candy bar. So
Idiot.
halfway through the film, we just had, like, bunches of people just
Rookie
walking past
mistake.
us, a whole bunch.
Rookie
So,
mistake.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thus is a good and a bad thing about a drive-in theater, because at a drive-in, halfway through the movie, you can get up and go to the candy bar.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you almost don't disturb everybody. Well, I mean, you can do that at a normal
You only
cinema as well.
disturb Jordan in his car next to the candy bar.
Outside of that, at a fine time, it was
Yeah,
fine. Go to
cool.
the drive-in sometime. They do
Go
it
to the
okay.
drive-in. Jordan, do you have some sort of stakes in this business?
Yeah, I do.
I put all my money into this
do.
drive-in, guys.
I bought a lot of shares. I just learned how to do it. It was an accidental click, but
I
I'm
bought
very
a lot
invested.
of empty lots and projectors.
I'm now in
very-
debt $20 million.
I've set a projector up in my backyard.
That's a big drive-in.
Angus, cinema dish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go. I did have a Cinema Dick. There was a lovely group of 4 teenagers up
Those
the back
fuckers.
talking throughout the whole film until the kind of final fight scene that they have on the island on
Oh,
Samoa.
Samoa.
not ugh
So
to
just-
Samoa. Great for Samoa.
Yeah.
Ugh for the scene.
Just before the final fight on Samoa started, they were getting not harassed by the rest of the audience, but there were quite a few people in the audience going, "Shh," or "Shut up, we're trying to watch the movie." And so halfway through that fight scene,
There was another
they-
fight scene within the
they-
cinema. And they all stripped down for some reason, and they all did a fucking haka or
yeah,
something.
that
and then they
oiled
all-
up. It was weird.
Yeah.
No, they just walked out halfway through that scene and just went, "This movie sucks." And I was biting my tongue so much to be like, "You suck."
Oh, what a great comeback! No, you suck.
No, you suck.
No, you suck!
Got him. Bloody got him. He's gonna go home and think about what he did. You're gonna make a great parent one day.
Right before he goes to sleep, he's like,
Oh, he bloody got me.
I should have said, no, you suck, back to that guy.
Yeah,
This movie sucks.
So I guess,
No,
you know,
you suck. No, you suck.
yeah, that would have got. I hate how I always think of the.
Boom.
Yeah, I hate
Got
how
the
I always
last
think of the
word,
perfect retort
Yeah.
after it.
so he was the cinema dick, but at least I had the cinema balls to tell him off in my head.
In your head. Yeah.
It's like that time when I was like,
Never
yeah, I'll win
would.
to
You never
management.
would in real life.
No. Don't risk it. Don't risk it for the biscuit.
Angus doesn't have balls in
That's
real life.
what my mum says. Don't risk it for the biscuit. I was a very hungry kid.
What about a raspberry shortcake?
You never do a double take for a strawberry shortcake.
Hey,
Got him.
nice.
That's
You're
one.
always quick to bake for a strawberry shortcake.
All right, Shops and Whore.
Had no dicks.
No dicks. There you go.
Dick-free
Nice
cinema.
one.
Nice.
Dick free since Augusto.
And he's been sober ever
Five.
since.
Sweet. All right, let's get into it. Most positive thing about the film. I feel like we're going to fly through this. My favorite thing,
My favorite thing was Ryan Reynolds.
really.
Yep.
Okay.
Funny boy.
That was up there for me.
Yeah.
He's a funny
Really?
boy.
I was like, this is Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
It's,
he was very shoehorned in, but it's still my
He's
favorite
Deadpool.
part. It was
So
still
funny.
Yeah.
It wasn't that shoehorned in because he was the bad guy as well. He was the.
I was just about to say, also, anyone figure out that he was a bad guy?
Yeah,
like, as
computer
soon
voice.
as the voice came up, I'm like, oh, that's Ryan Reynolds.
I wasn't invested enough to pay attention to it.
It wasn't hard.
You're just talking about the film in general.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard. So I guess spoilers for the next movie, he's probably going to be the bad guy.
They're not doing another Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, yes,
so
they are.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
probably going to make like 7 more.
They're going to make so much.
Yeah. In 10 years' time, people are going to be like, what's the Fast and the Furious?
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah, exactly.
you know the Hobbs and Shaw series?
In the Hobbs and Shaw
Yeah.
franchise.
You know Hobbs and Shaw 7?
You know how there's 19 of those and they just overtook the MCU for the amount of movies made in 10 years? Yeah.
So Ryan Reynolds, for you, Broadman, I liked Idris Elba. I think he's bloody fantastic.
He's fantastic,
in
yeah,
whatever he does. He's just a bloody
Black Superman.
lovable man.
I'm game for that movie.
The other thing that I did really like is just that little tip of the hat with the NOS sequence, which reminds me of like the first one where they flick the switch and the camera like speeds through the car and through everything. You like see the explosions of the engines and stuff. This movie had nothing to do with cars, don't get me wrong. It was like very lightly based on vehicles at best. But I did like the little tip of the hat that they had with when everyone kind of flicked the switch. I'm like, that's from the first Fast and Furious movie. It's good to see that see how they know how far they've come.
Kind of.
Which is not far.
Well,
Gang
that's,
dogs.
That's both my
Rip
positives.
into it.
That's both my positives. So here's another.
Okay.
I really liked the bit where inexplicably The Rock was able to hold on to a helicopter via a chain.
Yeah, the Captain America moment.
I'm really glad that he was able to hold on to that entire
Captain
helicopter.
America. Yeah.
No, I have, outside of some of the parts with Idris Elba, I thought this would be a really cool other movie that he should be in. And the parts with Ryan Reynolds when I went, I like Ryan Reynolds.
Did you like the banter? The bants? The constantly just,
No.
I hate you so much because you're a bloody dickhead. I hate
Nailed
you
it, Angus.
because of
Your
you."
rock impression is so good, man.
I think that's racist, but not for the reason it should be. Somehow really insulting towards British people more than anything.
That was British?
Yeah, no, that was
Look,
my
I
American
really-
accent.
Yeah, that was the rock, man.
I really
That was the
enjoyed
rock.
scenes with Idris Elba, especially like there's like some few scenes where he does some cool shit on a motorcycle and it's CG and it's like sort of
Yeah.
childish as it seemed. I was
Transformer
like, this
motorcycle.
is pretty freaking cool. And I also really liked the parts with Ryan Reynolds. He goes in this whole rant about stabbing a guy with a brick, and I was in fucking hysterics.
Yeah.
But that also just made me want to watch a Deadpool movie. Outside of that, nada. I fucking hated this film.
Nada.
Yeah, no. Oh, you know what? Favorite bit? I loved that there was somehow a fist bump at the end of every sentence. By the time
No.
they got to Samoa,
Yeah, true.
every single conversation, no matter who it was, ended in a fist bump.
Well, you know,
What about how they
handshakes-
doubled down on the "som bitch" thing?
Yeah.
It was like every second line where it was like, "You
bitch.
som bitch."
There's a part
Because that was the
where-
funniest
yeah.
part in Fate of the Furious
yeah.
is the bit where The Rock just stands up and goes, "Som bitch."
Oh, we should rewatch it again.
Love it.
Such a lot of rewatchability those films, but not for the right reasons.
No,
Yeah, no.
there is no rewatchability in those films. It's all trash.
Big negative.
I actually did like the first one.
They gave Idris Elba superpowers so that he could more or less have the same amount of strength that they gave The Rock. Like, he's genetically enhanced to be as strong as just a normal muscular man in this universe. Because the rules of how strong The Rock and how strong like Hobbs and Shaw, because of this world where it's sort of hyper real, or not hyper real, like hyper fake, and everybody can jump off a building and land on a truck or whatever, because everybody can do that, and they made The Rock strong enough to hold a helicopter, not just hold on to a chain that's attached to a helicopter that is being dragged by trucks.
Yeah.
He was able to hold onto the chain and drag the helicopter just by brute.
The truck was going one way, and the helicopter was going another way.
The same way, somehow, because of The Rock. But in a world where that is just something he can do, there's no point giving the bad guy genetically enhanced super strength unless you're really gonna make it
Ramp it up.
like
yeah.
they just made him. He's like, oh, he can jump off a motorcycle and land on a truck. I'm pretty sure I've seen him. I'm pretty sure I saw The Rock do that in the last 3 films.
Just make him like go gadget, pop wheels out of his legs, and then do a car chase
What
with just
would've
Idris
been,
Elba on
like-
a wheel.
What would have been better is, because he talks about genetically enhancing some of his soldiers. Give me a fight between The Rock and some genetically enhanced soldiers, or just a bloke that isn't as big as The Rock, and have The Rock lose quickly. Like, just have The Rock be used to winning these fights. He goes up against a general thug, and he gets fucking whooped.
Kind of like a Hulk and Thanos type deal.
Yeah, that would have been great. And there were so many opportunities where they could have done that, and they just... Each time I'm like, well, he's just a bloke, because the other two are super powered anyway. And then the way they solve it is they're just like, well, I'll take a punch so you can throw a punch. I'm like, well, if this guy is meant to be super strong, one punch should kill you. Like, make him dangerous.
Also, did they not think about, while we're on that, just punching at the same time?
Or
Because they're all like, oh, you go, and then I'll go. Maybe just try hitting him at the same time.
thing is he's bulletproof, right? So
His suit is.
they're punching him
They
harder.
just catch him in a hot tub.
Yeah, but it's like they're punching him harder than the bullet is hitting them. Like, it's just fucking ridiculous. The premise of this, and then also, like, there's a bomb and a bloodstream. What are you talking about? Couldn't give a fuck.
The way that I describe this movie is it's a bit of harmless, violent fun.
Except the violence was shithouse, because the end fight was just a weird slow-mo of The Rock being punched in the head.
Yeah.
And then Idris Elba being punched in the head. And then the next shot was slow-mo of Jason Statham being punched in the head. And then Idris Elba being punched in the head.
Yeah, but it's just, it's legit, it's just violence.
I
It's
thought
just
of my
explosions, just violence.
Thought of my positive. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, slow motion headbutts Idris Elba. And that's maybe the greatest thing I've ever seen. There's a slow motion headbutt, and it's so underwhelming. Because it's not even like a big charged up headbutt. He's just slightly near him, and his head just comes into frame really slowly. And it was so good. Like a shit,
It was pretty good.
like a Dwayne The Rock Johnson torpedo.
It was like...
His head just slowly entered the frame.
It was
and
like...
hit Idris Elba, and it was so great.
It was like when the moon crests over the horizon.
Yeah, it was just so dumb. Oh, it was
pretty
great.
So my negatives is that it falls into the same kind of all the other Hollywood trash that we've seen for the past 30 years. Just in stuff like, let's introduce a female character into this, and the female character, instead of being kind of really cool or anything, she's like ends up just being kind of a love interest for one of the main characters.
Yeah.
That's the most boring
there's
shit
this weird
I've ever seen, because we've seen it a million times.
And it made The Rock seem really, like, cringy, because he says it to the camera as well, and it was like, no.
And it has that other thing that a bunch of the other Fast and Furious films had, where there's just a full-on shot of a woman's butt in the middle of the screen.
Right?
For no reason whatsoever.
reason.
It's just Jason Statham walks into a building, and while he's walking towards a bad guy to punch him, the camera in one single movement pans down to crotch height, goes around
Arse in
behind a
frame.
woman, and then back up to... And there's no reason. You don't see the woman at any other point in that. You just see her butt.
There's such a Fast and Furious thing as well. Like, as soon as it's like building up to this, like, you know, epic
all the
thing,
films
or like
were edited by
montage,
Hugh Hefner.
it's just butt shots.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
I feel like these Fast and Furious films are getting worse and worse because of CGI. I know that like, a lot of people talk about CGI and shit. I'm only talking about with the cars. They just replace stuff with a CGI car doing a jump or whatever, and it's boring as hell. It's like not only do they just cut from so much shit and it's just a CGI car in a CGI environment, but they just like light it terribly and you can't see what's happening, and they cut to something else and it's just like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
In this film, they break the 180 degree rule like every single scene. It's a thing that I've been thinking about a lot. Basically, the idea is that the camera should never cross a 180 degree line. So, like, if there's a subject in like the middle of the screen, it should never go to the exact opposite of the side and show their back. Right.
So imagine the movie's like a theater. You can sit in any seat, but you can't go up onto the stage.
Yeah.
It's like,
right. You can't go behind the screen.
Yeah, so you can't spoil the illusion.
So yeah, and the whole idea about the rule is that no matter what, you always understand where each character is in the environment, and you always understand where they're standing, what they're looking at, and stuff like that because of this rule. But they break it all the time in this film. So in the interrogation scene, they switch from side to side of the interrogation. So in one shot, Jason Statham's on the left and The Rock's on the right. They cut to a shot of Idris Elba, like looking down to his right, which would look like he's talking to The Rock, but he's actually talking to Jason Statham, because when they cut back out, they've switched it, so now Jason Statham's on the right side and The Rock's on the left. The only other big technical thing that I was like, this is shithouse, Jordan, love the phrase.
You're welcome.
More and more.
I'm glad it's being brought back.
Is that the final fight scene? It was like between all the Samoans and all of the Etion people. I think that's what the crazy company is called. Or that fight scene between all of those people. They shot it during the day, and then in post they artificially darkened it.
Yeah.
And it looks terrible because, and no matter who's looking at that will think that it looks terrible because it's meant to be shot like during like dawn, so it's meant to be a little bit dark. But the thing is, if you're shooting through dawn, you would have gone through and lit everything correctly so people can see what the fuck is on screen.
Yeah.
The problem with darkening in post is you just made everything dark.
It's just silhouetted everywhere.
And so now you can't see shit. And I was just like, this looks terrible. Like, this is such a big film. Why didn't they film this right? Like, what happened in the making of this film that they had to go in post and make everything dark?
I think every decision they made was immediately overshadowed by someone going, don't worry too much, we've got the star power of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham, and the charisma will do it. So every time they're like, does this script look okay? And they're like, look, on the day, we'll get them to like, improv and people, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
And then it feels like this film was also the epitome of like, we'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like there was so many scenes that looked like
all those
scenes.
filmmakers just shuttered in there.
Yeah. There was so many scenes that looked like they was just like a pickup that they did, or there was like a green screen that they did. Especially there was a scene
so many green screens
where
in this.
The Rock was like, he was in Samoa. The Rock goes up to the door. He like knocks on the door. Then there's like a shot from like looking at the Rock's face. It's like a close up, and it's the most green screen thing you've ever seen. There's just a huge light on the side of his head, and it cuts back to the original footage where they're just like standing there, and it's just like, okay, yeah, that looks normal. They're actually in like Samoa. This is or wherever they filmed. This is great. And then it cuts back to just a close up of the Rock's face on a green screen. It's just like, why are they even putting that shot in there? It was one of those things where I was just like, this is such a weird.
It's like for a quick quip or something, like a little splash of.
There were so many little filmmaking choices that I was just like, this feels like it was made by amateurs.
Staying on those filmmaking choices, one of the mistakes I'm sick of seeing in film is people thinking that because it's night, it'll be darker and grittier. If you've got a lovely location and you're there, don't CGI the sky and CGI rain in. Just keep whatever that, like, because I'm so sick of movies being like, because they went to Samoa, the fight was meant to start at dawn, right? Like 5 a.m. or something like that. Then the fight went supposedly for about 6 minutes, because that's when the weapons came online. And then it was nighttime and it was piss and rain. And it was clearly a CGI, because none of the lighting on anything looked right. It was clearly like a CGI grey sky.
It was a cool set. The set was cool. It was like a broken down helicopter next to like, it was like almost on the beach, so there was like seawater.
It was like a DC movie ending though, where it was just like, let's make everything a weird grey steamy background, and we'll CGI all the fights so you can't tell what's happening.
Final boss fight.
Why? Just, it would have been so much cooler to have them fight in a mud pit in Samoa. Just go to the effort to keep filming that fight scene there.
Another big negative of mine is the bit where The Rock, he like takes off his like little gown that he's
wearing pants underneath now?
He's wearing
cargo pants underneath somehow?
He runs, jumps onto the back of the car, and then he just has a t-shirt with him that he pulls out, and he just puts a grey t-shirt on, and I'm just like, why? He looks so cool. Without the t-shirt, he's like one of the biggest guys you've ever seen. He's got awesome tattoos. He's kicking the shit out of people. Then he runs, jumps on the back of the car, and he's wearing green cargo pants and a grey t-shirt. And he looks like the most ordinary dad I've ever seen. And it's just like, what the hell was that costume choice? At least give him some cool clothes. Give him some like black pants and some big ass boots and shit. It's like, nope, he's gonna be wearing a basic grey tee and green cargo pants. The coolest of all pants.
Daddy Rock. I think one of my biggest negatives is the fact that they relied so heavily on the CGI stuff for the bad guy and how just unrealistic it is. Like, the motorbike was a cool feature, but it was literally a transformer. It's just
science
it could do anything. Like,
get your science fiction out of my car movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Put some cars in my car movie.
Stuff. Yeah, one of the coolest scenes was like when you said, Angus, the scene with the NOS. That was like harking back to old Fast and Furious. Like and that scene like leading up to that where the cars are all underneath the helicopter. Yeah, it felt like they're like, these are real cars driving. Looks cool.
And all the car, and it's so simple, but like you have like this chase, and then another car comes in close up of someone driving it, going Yahoo! And you're like, fuck, this is awesome. Kind of thing.
It's
one
awesome
of those things.
Stuff.
Because they kept trying to raise the stakes, they wrote themselves into a corner. Because the thing is, it used to be like, all right, well, we're gonna have to get this gangster in Mexico or something, and he's gonna put all the money in this car. But if you win the war, if you win the race, you get the car. And that's. But now they're like, you've got to stop nuclear World War III. Doesn't make sense to be like, I'll race you for it. Like, you know, it's like
I would love to see that movie.
World War III, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson's like, all right. Next
Sweet.
week.
Yeah, that's what we thought of Hobbs and Shaw. Thank you, Kane Diggity. Thanks, Shobs and
Kane Diggity.
next week we are reviewing
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Cappuccino's new film. Ninth film, potentially the last film.
That's me, boy.
Yep.
Excellent.
Looking forward to that one.
Ninth film.
That'll
Dun,
be
dun, dun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Can't wait to see an original story.
I can't want to see Bruce
Based
Lee
on-
reenacted.
I'm looking forward to it. I saw the first trailer and I haven't seen anything since.
Yeah.
So
I've
I'm
heard a
pretty-
bit about
pretty
it.
excited. Don't say anything.
I don't. No, I wish I hadn't. But I'm
Been a
still.
while since we reviewed a biopic, so it should be good. All right. Next week we'll see you bloody then. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Film Slice
Slice
Podcast. You can
Podcast.
reach us on Instagram,
reach us on
Twitter,
Instagram,
Facebook, all that
Twitter,
jazz. Make sure you
Facebook, all
subscribe
that jazz.
to
Make
the
sure
YouTube
you
channel.
subscribe
to
to
the
our
podcast.
YouTube channel.
All that jazz.
To our podcast.
And next
all
week,
that
I
jazz.
promise,
And
we won't
next
be
week,
reviewing
I
it in a
promise we
cave,
won't
so
be
you won't
reviewing
have
it
this annoying
in
echo.
a cave, so you won't have this annoying echo. I'm a dick.